Hello and welcome to Future Balls, where we pick 3 random balls about the future and try to merge them together and come up with something cool. So Nathan, what do we have first up?
I'm just spinning. Oh shit! No,
Yeah, that could be the first one.
Flew out. Hang on, it's somewhere in my crotch.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll take a different one.
Yeah, we don't want a crotch ball.
Lifelogging.
Lifelogging, hells yeah.
And there's like one stuck in the cage. There we go. And next one, health.
Lifelogging and health,
Well,
okay.
They already go together pretty well. And the
They
one in
do.
my crotch, pornography.
Really?
Literally.
Oh my goodness.
That one jumped to where it wanted to go.
To very specific things. Okay, cool. God, okay.
Lifelogging porn.
And how healthy you are from the amount of porn that you consume. Is there a correlation? Is
It
there
just
not?
tracks every porn that you watch, your entire history.
I'm curious with a lot of the life loggers right now, if that's because I mean they're trying to capture and record everything they do and all of that. I wonder what level they go to with all of their porn habits and that. Do they share all of their like Pornhub history and all of that? I guess if it's all for personal use.
Isn't there that one guy who does a report of his life logging every year? He records everything about his life and then he kind of makes a report. And I'm pretty sure there's some dude who measures his poop.
Yeah,
There's something to do with poop. There's some poop life logging thing. But I wonder if that guy does porn as well, or is porn more taboo than poop?
Yeah, I wonder. I feel like porn's probably the more taboo thing that people less share that. But
I can see, like, your annual report at the end of the year, it's like, oh, here's all the poops I had and the sizes, and then the other columns, like, and here's all the, like, midget porn I watched, and, like, you know, all this bestiality shit.
God, you're banned from the internet forever.
It's for science, guys. That's right.
It's science. Well, the whole poop thing's actually pretty interesting. I remember there was a whole big phase for a while there.
Scat fan?
Love poop. Just love it.
He's a scat man.
Terrifying thought. But the whole smart toilets. Do you remember when there was a whole big push for people saying that you could analyze your poop in real time in these toilets?
No.
I remember that because it was way back. Like it must have been like 10 years ago now. But I remember there was a big push, and a lot of people were saying that's a real big benefit for health.
Did they end up getting it out?
No. Well done. No, I don't think it ever properly came, but I just remember when being in the lifelogging community ages back that a lot of people were talking about that.
The Onion has, you know, like the Onion, the satirical, there's an amazing video of them mocking the whole IoT thing.
Oh yeah.
I forget the name of but it's something like smart. It's some smart thing where it's literally just like, it's a tube that you shit into and then they measure everything and it's like world changing. It's great. Look it up. Yeah.
It sounds about right. Yeah. You could learn a lot, I think, that actually talking about life logging and talking about like health and all that. If you're analyzing your shit every time, like you'd know that, hey, something's not right here. Go drink some more. Go do all of that rather than recording your water. You're just like, oh, cool. Your toilet automatically does it. It's sent to you. And
but you can imagine that as like a VC-backed company.
Yeah.
Like, we must collect all the information about our users' daily movements.
And then that gets leaked everywhere. And you go through like celebrity shit profiles and stuff.
God. Back to Taylor Swift again.
Oh, God.
Everyone knows Taylor Swift's bowel movements.
A very certain subsector of the pornography community would be very happy about that, I'm sure.
God.
Oh, terrifying.
But okay, well, let's go into some like cool. Like we were super big into lifelogging.
Yeah.
In the day. So we did it. We did a crazy thing where we built an app that recorded audio 24/7.
Yeah, non-stop.
On an Android phone, just ran in the background, kept it in your pocket.
Yeah.
I think I have like on and off like maybe 3 years of recordings.
Hells yeah.
Sitting somewhere in like some unsecured place.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I'm about the
like,
same, not as long as that.
In like Google Drive somewhere.
Yeah. I know, it'd be good to, because the idea was that then you could have like a translator. Yeah. Go through it or like just an automatic
I think he was
of that.
Like back then, it's not
Google Translate, wasn't it?
What's the phrase for like translating voice to text? Transcription. Back then, transcription was terrible, but we're thinking like in the future, which is kind of like now-ish, like transcription is pretty good. You could probably take some really soft, kind of grainy audio and then run it through and get all the transcription out of it. And then we're thinking you could do crazy shit like like you could do tracking your vocabulary over time.
Yeah, hells yeah.
Like
actually see how the memes impact you.
Yeah,
you hear about a meme once and than how it actually gets inside you and changes your thoughts.
Yeah, like it might pick up in the background you saying some meme to me, some word, and then I pick it up, and then like it just notices me like regurgitating it over and over again.
Yeah,
and then here's other people around me doing it.
Yeah,
and then other stuff as well. Like you could listen to background noise, and you could work out where you are. You could listen to the intonations in your voice to work out your mental state or whatever.
Yeah. You could do a lot with it, like being able to just have an audio recording of everything around you nonstop.
Yeah.
The stuff you could get from that is amazing. And I was thinking as well later on, like the kind of an insurance aspect. If you know that everything's recorded, you know that, hey, cool, I'm relatively safe because I can always go back in time and know that this bit is recorded. And
maybe that won't work now with deepfakes.
Yeah, that's true. Hey.
You'd have to have an extra layer on top that says that
it's real.
What's that word? That word, provenance.
Digital provenance.
Is that the word? Yeah, like where it came from.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's another thing you could do that, again, brainstorming, thinking about old ideas and all of that, is that you could every, say, 10 seconds or so, you upload a hash of the last bit to like a blockchain or something. So you can actually prove that, hey, unless it's been doctored in these last 10 seconds, this is absolutely 100% what the audio was. And just the thought of having able to doctor it in real time within 10 seconds or say even a minute, very difficult to do.
It's kind of funny thinking of every single word you've ever uttered as a immutable hash chain.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like every word that I'm saying right now is stored on a hash chain, and you can't go back and change it, otherwise it breaks the rest of the chain.
See, that's awesome. That's when history actually becomes solid. That your history is now. What was the thing we used to always say back in that? It was like your history begins now, or something like this is where you actually the next level of history starts, because once everything is all recorded nonstop, you can actually properly understand history.
And the inverse of that, like anything that's not recorded is lost to the ether.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it just never happened. But anything that is recorded will maybe be around for forever.
Yeah,
for as long as consciousness exists.
Yeah. It's funny that it hasn't taken off massively. So like even say with health and stuff, that's been, I think but even say if your own personal use, that I know that I've got, like I record a few things, but even stuff say with health and all of that, like I do it for a while and then I just stop doing it. I guess it's kind of, I don't know if it's not actually benefiting you. It's like some nebulous time in the future it will be helpful, but it's never actually been that helpful, I guess.
Yeah. I guess that's where most of it now is like Fitbit-y type stuff where it's like, there's kind of an immediate like feedback, I guess.
Yeah. And like, closing the rings on your Apple Watch and stuff, like getting your fitness and stuff. And I'd be curious to know the stats of people actually doing that, because I know with my Apple Watch that I've turned off the whole telling me to breathe thing. It's something really obnoxious about...
What is it?
It tells you to breathe. Yeah. It pops up and says, time to breathe.
Oh, is it like a calming thing? It's not.
I think it says that as well. And like it tells you to stand as well. And it's something, it just makes me really angry when it's this little computer telling me to stand up. And I purposefully don't.
It's a dom on your wrist. It's like, you may now breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Breathe, boy.
The other really cool one back in the day that we really liked is the idea that imagine if you had your, say, grandparents or great-grandparents or ancestors like had recorded everything about their life and everything they ever said. Then you could almost make like a fairly good artificial version of them.
Totally.
And even like we're thinking, even you could do it in a crude way, like even without basic AI, you could just do like lookups.
Yeah.
So the idea was like, if imagine your grandfather has recorded their entire life and they're now they're dead. Imagine how many times they'd been asked, what's the weather like today, or like common questions that you're asking a lot. And or you could just ask them that same question to this digital version, and if it was a really good fast search lookup, it could just look up when it was asked that and just replay their answer.
Yeah.
So you're actually hearing their real voice and what they actually said, but it's just a replay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you could do crazier stuff down the line, like full on like digital representation, like simulated voice and everything like that.
Yeah, proper deep fakes and all that, especially with the weather. Just say that it's your ancestors that actually tell you the weather every morning. And all of that. So you're hearing their voices once again. I think that's going to be a really big issue as things happen in the future. As there is, say, more life logging, and we know all of this stuff, and deepfakes become more and more of a thing. Actually, working out, I don't know, replicating people who are gone, who are dead. There was a few services actually popping up to do that with just text messages, like just IMs and stuff. So it's like you're actually talking to them, and you just have a neural net talk back to you as them, I think it's pretty cool.
GPT me.
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
Copyright, trademark.
So do you think it'll be inevitable that this will all be recorded? Lifelogging will take off? Or why is it taking so long?
I don't know. I think it's still privacy. Like this stuff makes more sense if we were in a distributed reality where you controlled, like where you actually controlled your own data, and it was and it wasn't a shit UX. Like you didn't have to be a fucking sysadmin and run a server in your basement. Like if you could have a fully distributed world where data was like, fully under your control, then yeah, it makes way more sense to just be like record everything. But I think the problem is because we're in the
silos,
the capitalist reality of like, oh, data is king and data is
data
money.
is the new oil and all of that. Come on, get in on it. Get as much data as you can. And like, what?
Yeah, like the economic context we're in is probably the worst ever era you could possibly have lifelogging, because it just means you're going to be mined for money and profit and
you're selling your entire
exploited.
life.
So it's like,
well, I guess that comes up to the whole pornography thing of why people wouldn't want to share that and stuff, is because you're not in control of where that information goes.
Yeah.
That it might actually be valuable to actually know of your sexual health and stuff. But no one in their right mind, well, very few people would actually be wanting to record that, because they know that it is, first off, not safe. It could be used against them. Yeah. It's not, anywhere you put it, it's not theirs.
Yeah. I remember this idea we had back in High 45 days talking about this, that the privacy is really only an issue because some people keep secrets, if that makes sense. So if you play out that thought experiment, like if you end up in a lifelogging world where absolutely everyone shares absolutely everything, then suddenly like privacy becomes less and less of a concern. Because I mean, there's certain things like that where it's like you don't want to share certain things about your life because first of all, it's just socially weird at the moment, and then also like it could be used against you down the line if other people aren't. Yeah, it's like the whole adults like keeping secrets and then using it against you, that sort of shit.
Yeah, exactly. If everyone isn't on the same playing field, it's a classic prisoner's dilemma there. As soon as the first person to not share something, they gain the advantage to the detriment of everyone else. And so then, the whole game theory leads to not sharing everything. And even now, like you see it, just people are even just splicing individual bits, the amount of propaganda and stuff that is used.
It's all psyops and psyops.
It's very scary.
But I think it'd be like liberating to like, imagine if you could... imagine if everyone was like streaming their lives nonstop, and you saw like the president of every different country just taking a shit. You saw exactly. You saw the Queen taking a shit, and it's like, like that sounds like something that's like super weird right now. But like, if you could just watch anyone taking a shit at any time, like would you?
Yeah, exactly. Why would you really care at all? But it opens.
It probably wouldn't even become a fetish, because it'd be like something that's just so accessible and available. Like you think of like tribes in native tribes, like when the women all have their tits out, it's just like tits they aren't sexualized because they're just always there. Yeah, that sort of thing. So it's like, I'm bringing this back to like your scat fetish again. So like, if you have a live stream of everyone shitting,
exactly,
it probably won't even be a category on Pornhub. Like,
that's your way to eliminate all of the social taboos. Just make very upsetting. I think I'm still surprised that health has taken so long to get there. I mean, there's always like the new talk with the new Apple Watch, or the new new device that you wear that's going to record your certain health and make all these changes. Like I've got all my heart rate recorded, or what is it they're talking about, oxygenating, like you're recording the amount of oxygen in your blood and all of that. But again, if it's not in a format that's super easy to use and go back and forth, or the fact that now even when you go to the doctor and you get stuff done, you don't get that data yourself, that it's still within their silos. Like, what the fuck? Why isn't it you have your own control of all of your health in your own record that you put around to everywhere? The amount of tests I've had done over my whole life, like, what the fuck? That's going to change. That's going to totally be different. It has to be.
Yeah. Well, in Australia, I know they did do some new initiative where there's the government
the government health thing.
So they can store it, which is not safe. But I think I opted into that because I was like, yeah, sweet. I want all my, because you move around everywhere, and I want all my data in one place. And I opted in, and it's like, there's still, I've logged in there a few times. There's nothing in there. So the doctors don't even like bother to upload it to a thing that you've opted into.
It's shocking. It's only that. It's just the issue of UX, because I feel like everyone would want that. Yeah. It's all of these things that people know is going to happen in the future, but it just hasn't actually happened yet. Yeah.
The funny thing I almost think that's going to happen is so in civilized countries like Australia where we actually have free universal healthcare, unlike the barbarians in the US,
The third world country.
but at the same time you see a lot of like health innovation happening in the US because there's money to be made off it. And people are like, investors are willing to invest in health companies. You see all these like crazy like health companies coming out of the US, which probably would never happen in places with socialized medicine, socialized healthcare.
Maybe though. So maybe a good way to
bad.
actually encourage innovation with that is by letting people actually control their own data. Because if you could see that, hey, look, I've got all of this health data, I've got all of this, and then someone comes up with a service saying, hey, look, we can actually use that data for something useful.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of trusting that company. Whereas now, like, you can't just go out and like, get a medical thing, or maybe that's probably for the best, not getting like, your own medical devices, but say at least the data themselves. There's a lot of innovation that could be done or put on top of that. I wonder if there are any services that like hook into your, like say your heartbeat on your Apple Watch and gets all of your data and then analyzes it for you and says stuff.
Probably.
But I guess then there's all of that lockdown stuff with the medical issues.
Remember, Diamandis has some company that it's like for 25 grand a pop, they do like all these medical tests. And I think his end game was like, oh, it'd be great if we got that down to like a level that's affordable for people, but I don't think that needle's moved at all.
Well, prevent it before it actually happens.
But
see,
like,
that's where lifelogging actually really helps out. You can say, hey, you've got some there's some slight warnings here. Like,
dude,
maybe it's checked out.
I think even the layman on the street, if we brought them in now and asked them about this question, like they'd be like, yeah, it's obvious. I should be recording all of my health related data, and it
Who's
shouldn't be
against that.
And health should be a preventative measure, whereas like something's just like analyzing that data in real time, not mining it to exploit me for fucking insurance premiums or some bullshit like that. But it's like it's like actually like looking at the patterns in all the data from all your biometrics in real time, and the moment it notices something, it goes, oh, hey, like there's something here. Go see a doctor, and then the doctor just goes and looks at all the data. And then they run more tests and they do like all the crazy advanced stuff like genome tests and gut bacteria tests and like all the shit you could possibly do. Like, and then it's just like it should just find like what's wrong with you. And then it should start doing like a big thing with like medical stuff is like we seem to just like throw shit at it. It's like not knowing like
you're big about the shit today.
I mean, stuff like how many times do you go to the doctor and he's like, oh yeah, I'm sick. They don't even look at you, and then they're just like, just take some antibiotics.
Yeah.
You're like, what? How is this going to help?
It's bizarre.
Like, wouldn't it be great if like, okay, they admit that they don't know what the fuck's wrong with you, but then they start like giving you almost like a scientific experiment where it's like, okay, A/B test these things, and like here's the AI just kind of like puts together this whole like testing regime for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, try this, do this, and then at each moment you give it feedback, and it just kind of like a scientific experiment. It hones in on what the solution is to that particular problem, versus just like, just take this script and see what happens.
It still feels like in many ways we're really in the dark ages of medical stuff right now, at least at the initial.
We don't have leeches still.
So. We don't have leeches. Well, that's good. We're one step up.
We've replaced leeches with antibiotics.
Yeah. At least, I guess maybe it is an economic concern, or that it's not phrased in the right way, or it's structured inefficiently. I don't know. I was trying to think of it, maybe comparing it to, say, the electric car or something, that people always knew that, electric cars will be the future, or that'll always be a thing. But until, I guess maybe you could argue battery technology is plus someone like pushing the whole vision of it. But is it really a technological issue that's causing medical stuff to be so crap right now?
That's the analogy you're making.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are you going with this?
Well, yeah, what'll be the catalyst to actually enact all of this change? Or is it because it's so technically risky that people won't do it?
Could be. Maybe there's like regulations and laws around medical data, health data.
Just that thing what you said before about grabbing someone on the street, they would be okay with this.
Yeah.
It's like we're trapped in this little local maxima right now of a cultural artifact that says, no, we can't do that.
I think if the, like they always talk about like once you turn something into an information system based thing, that's when it starts hitting the exponentials. And so the obvious way you do that with health is like data.
Yeah.
But then the problem is we're in a economic context where it's just like data is all about like capture, silo, monetize, and exploit.
And where's your own personal spot to do it all? And not just with Apple and all of that, and not on another service, just your own thing. God damn.
That'd be great. What else have we missed?
We didn't go deep into pornography.
Oh, no. We've had so many goddamn
Yeah, I know.
Whenever
Right?
we wrote these down, our heads must have been in a certain place because we wrote so many what did we
was
have?
it? It was dildonics and pornography. Were they the only two?
I feel like we've had so many more. Maybe what were the last topics we've done? I don't know. We've done too many now. Lifelogging, health, yeah, they go together.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything?
I think it's less far out into the future because I think a lot of people know what it'll be. I mean, there's a pretty shared collective idea of that it should all be recorded.
Yeah. I can throw out a quick, far out there one. You have lifelogging built in, you have a device stuck to your head or arm, and it's just the moment it notices something, it just injects drugs into you to fix it.
Hey, I like that. Yeah. You're doing work, your productivity starts dropping. We give you more drugs. Get faster. Well, yeah, the people in the Amazon fulfillment centers that start walking a little bit slower automatically drugs them. Work faster. Terrifying.
Yep. But cool in a good sense.
Yeah.
Instantaneous medical attention.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Instantaneous, health.
Yeah. Stops all the pain immediately if you're ever in a horrific accident or something. That's quite nice. And then people get into horrific accidents to get the drugs.
For some reason, I'm just imagining all flights in the future. They just have as soon as there's a medical emergency, they just inject everyone with something.
The needles come out.
Calming things. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, shall we leave it there?
I think we will.
Cool. Oh, I'm Tristan Grace.
I'm Nathan Waters.
See you guys later.
Bye.